Good morning, everyone. Before I will start my report, let me first introduce myself. So, I am Rona Tirikina, a BS Ed first year student, and today I am going to report about the task being assigned to me by my group mates, which is the topic titled Multiculturalism and the First Dimension of Global Competence, which is examine the topic that are important on a local, global, and cultural level. So before we start the topic, let us first define what is multiculturalism. So multiculturalism is the view that cultures, races, and ethnicities, particularly those of minority groups, deserve special acknowledgement within a dominant political culture. So this is the process. So multiculturalism daw is a process of giving equal attention to many different backgrounds in a particular setting, which means that all different cultural or racial groups in a society are given the equal rights and opportunities, and none is ignored or regarded as unimportant. So, muna siya. Diba, we can see nga, sa ato nga society karon, diba, we can observe that hitawag ang ato silingan have different cultures man, diba? So, though panag sa natin makita ang usahingan, adjay murag mo discriminate sa uban, but mostly, we do respect and respect their cultures as well as sa pag-respect nato sa atong cultures. So, anak pa lang, we can observe that multiculturalism in our society really exists. Despite models of global education such as intercultural education, global citizenship education, and education for democratic citizenship are built on the ideas of education for global competence. Despite variations in emphasis and scope, these models both strive to improve students' understanding of the world and motivate them to express their opinions and engage in society. So, to deeply understand what is multiculturalism and how to practice this, how to engage with it, kaning naay tulo ka models of global competence na exist. Kani siya nga 3 models. This will help us develop self-awareness of one's own identity, culture, beliefs, and how this connects within the wider world. We became social aware as well. Kay kani siya nga ang model, this will dili man mo introduce nila or lang ipasabot sa ato of how this difference relate to us. One po diri po na tumabalaan nga ma-discover nga usaw na to sila pag-cope up or usa na to pag-engage, usa na to pag-embrace ang nagkalain-lain nga mga cultures nga exist atong society. Also, like, mabutang na to atong kagalingon sa shoes sa uban nga mga cultures. It's what they call empathy. Dira na to. Then, we also have perspective taking, where this is the ability to look beyond our own point of view so that we can consider how do someone else may think or feel about something. Also, through pud ani nga mga models, makakatot po taon how to appreciate diversity, di ba? And respect others, which is the very main essence o ngano ni siya nga gi-implement ni siya nga tulo ka models. Also, to build relationships with the diverse individuals and groups. To deeply understand the 3 models of global competence, ato siyang tinagsatagsaon pag-discuss. So, the first model of global competence is intercultural education, which refers to the phenomenon of interaction between people, religions, cultures, and speakers of different languages who have different opinions and views. This education is fundamental in addressing cultural differences such as aspect on principles, values, traditions, and etc. So, kanya kind of education, makita na to siya, we can usually, makita na to na siya or ato na siyang maagian through school curriculum. Usually, nagtackle siya about anti-discrimination and equality, developing a culture of openness and interculturality, napoy gender equality and intersectionally. So, kanya siya nga kind of education. This is really very important. Why? Because it promotes the understanding of different people and cultures. It also includes teachings that accept and respect the normality of diversity in all areas of life. So, pinagi-ani nga education or kani nga model, dili ta makatuna nato on how to respect others, culture, other people's beliefs, yung mga practices sa kinabuhi. Dili ta we learn to accept and respect nga sa life di ay or sa atong kinabuhi. Nadyo tayo lain-lain nga ginatuuhan and gina-follow. And di ta makabuot or di na to ma-judge ang uban nga tao if inana sila, if that's what they follow and they do sa ilang life. Kay it is their culture man. So, also, through this education, it will also help us inculcate, ma-instill or makatunan sab nato ang mga values such as empathy. Kasi empathy, ato mabutang ang atong kagalingon sa shoes o nga tao para masabtan nato sila. That's what empathy means. And also, ma-open-minded sabda. Like, yes, ma-open-minded ta. And then, respect, as always, and inclusivity, which is the practice or policy of providing equal access to opportunities and resources. So, ari na po ta sa second model of global competence, which is the global citizenship education. So, this model is a form of civic learning that involves students' active participation in projects that address global issues of a social, political, economic, or environmental nature. So, when we say civic learning, this is a process through which young people like us develop the knowledge, skills, and commitment to interact effectively with fellow community members to address shared problems. So, ato na siyang example na ito ani is like the subjects araling panlipunan. Kay di ari, di ba, usually kayong araling panlipunan, this really mostly ang topic sa ani about issues man yun mga global issues atong kalibutan, global issues. So, usually ani ang mga activities ani is like role-playing presentations where we are to assume that we are in a certain we are experiencing a certain problem and then we are tasked to resolve it. So by that, dira to mainan sa itong mga skills and abilities nga o kung saan nato sila pag-solve ang mga problems nga gihatag or gi-assign sa atong mga teachers, and as well as ato pong ma-discover kung sa mga reasons why na-exist ni siya. As well as debating pod. Dira ana we can exercise our freedom to express our ideas and opinions sa mga existing or newly existing global issues atong gi-face and atong makakwantag mga stands nato ba. So, kani siya nga model or this education, this is a response of the UNESCO to the challenges and issues that we are facing right now. It aims to impart the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes necessary to help promote tolerance, equity, and peace in the world. So, ay na po ta sa last or the third model of global competence, which is the education for democratic citizenship. It is a part of and in line with the UNESCO's approach to global citizenship education. So, di ba, sa second model or the GCED, kato siyang education is a global approach that aims to empower learners to assume active participations sa ilang para ma-discover nila ilang mga roles and responsibilities as a citizen on how to cope and resolve the issues and challenges nga atong ginaatubang sa atong kalibutan. Pero while kini nga education for democratic citizenship, it is considered as a critical and effective empowerment tool for promoting skills and competencies, giving equal importance to knowledge, values, and importance for active participation and engagement in a democratic and multicultural society. So, ani nga education, dili na ta murag makaagit ang mga trainings para to be able to mas ma-enhance nato atong abilities and skills ug unsaon nato pag-cope up and unsaon nato para mahimutang nga mga critical thinker and problem solver sa mga possible nga mga global issues nga musbong, and then for the current as well as for the current issues karon nga atong giatubang. So, Canadian education is very important because this aims to equip learners with knowledge and skills and understandings and molding their attitudes and behaviors. Also, to empower them to exercise and defend their democratic rights and responsibilities. So, to conclude the first topic, the main purpose of multiculturalism is to seek the inclusion of the views and contribution of diverse members of a society while maintaining the respect for their differences and withholding the demand for their assimilation into the dominant culture. Also, the importance of these three models of global competence nga na-contribute sa atoon is through this, mas na-understand nato and mas kabalo tago sa ato mag-accept and respect the diversity in all aspects of our life na dilista ng panahon or dili na to malikayan nga sa atong society adyo tay mga different cultures and mga traditions nga makit-an and ma-observe. So ni ana pa lang multiculturalism makainta nga this really exists. So kani nga models dili ta mas nakakat-on ta na instill na to sa atong kaugalingon nga we need to empathize other cultures, we need to accept them and respect them. We don't need to discriminate others. It's just because nga wala ta naangay sa ilang culture. So, proceed sa dimensions of global competence. So, before we start, let us first define what is global competence. Global competence is a multidimensional construct that requires a combination of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values successfully applied to global issues or intercultural situations. Global issues refer to those that affect all people who are perceived to be from a different cultural background. So, kaning global competence is really very important. This is our it is our reply to our rapidly changing world. Kay if we do not develop this skill, we cannot cope up or ug sa trend para dili ta makasabay sa mga kanagani sa pag-usbong sa mga nagkalain-lain nga mga trending nga topics or mga trending nga mga kuan karon kanang mga issues. Pareha ra pud na sa ato ang mga global issues karon nga giatubang. If we are not globally competent people, dili dili ta maka-survive or we do not have the ability nga maka-contribute sa ato ang world kung saan na to pag-solve kini nga mga global issues nga nag-exist. So, global competence is also considered to be the skills, values, and behaviors that prepare young people like us to thrive in a more diverse, interconnected world. Through this, we can enhance our ability to be engaged citizens and collaborative problem solvers who are ready for the workforce is essential, especially karon sa atong society, which is really or mostly driven by technology. So, ari na ta sa first dimension of global competence. This is the examine topics that are important on a local, global, and cultural level. When forming their own opinion about global problem, globally competent people's practice of effectively mixing world information and logical thinking are referred to as this component. So, people who belong into this dimension are into examining the local, global, and intercultural issues. Usually, kani mga tao ani, they are very curious and wants to discover mga existing nga mga global issues and mga possible pa rin nga mo arise nga mga issues. Honest nila, people who have reached this mature level of development in this dimension use higher thinking skills to reason about global events such as selecting and evaluating relevant facts. So, kani mga tawhana, kan sila, hilig ni sila or they are into kanang mo discover sila, mo mangita sila kuan mga resources nga wherein ma-prove nila na nga kana nga global issue really exists. Kana nga global issue is sabi na siya, grabe na ba siya or kuan pa kanang di pa kaayo kanang through selecting or evaluating relevant facts. Ila sa na nga susihon jud pagtaman. Ila sa na siya nga mudan para sa mga observation, mga experiments. Students who are globally competent can ask questions, analyze data and arguments, describe phenomena, and establish stance on a global, local, or cultural problem by drawing on and combining the disciplinary skills and modes of thinking learned in school. So, kani mga students po globally competent, they can ask questions, mag-analyze mo sila mga data and arguments, maka-describe sila mga phenomena like, describe sila ano ni siya, nahitabo ni siya, say mga causes ani o say mga effects ani niya. And also establish a stance on a local, global, or cultural problem by drawing on and combining the different disciplinary skills and modes of thinking learned in school. So when we say disciplinary skills, these are the abilities that facilitate the process to find solutions to complex problems from several perspectives. So, muna siya mga kakayahan sa mga globally competent students. Also, media literacy is very required into this dimension. Why? Kaya ang mga tao karon or people who are globally competent, dili sila dayon mo tuo sa mga nangkalat or mga nanggawas ng mga information without any facts or mga kanang evidence. Mo dig deeper na sila and then ila sa dyan nga kanang undergo og mga other researches pa if kani ba nga mga existing ng mga global issues is really true, or because media literacy is described as the ability to access, analyze, and critically evaluate media messages, as well as generate new media content. To conclude, people who are globally competent and belongs to this first dimension of global competence are proficient consumers and developers of both traditional and digital media.